Hello everyone. In today's session, we will discuss about new chapter, that is how do organism reproduce. Okay, so let's start our today's lecture. In the previous chapter, we have studied those life processes which help an organism, that is either it is a plant or animal, to keep them alive. Got it? Now all the living organisms grow with time and ultimately they die. Got it? So how the new organisms to be produced in place of those who die? This is with the help of process reproduction. Reproduction play an important role to maintain the continuity of life on the earth. Okay, so in today's chapter, we will cover these important topics. Okay, so here topics to be discussed are the reproduction. We will take introduction of the reproduction, then we will discuss about the different types of reproduction, that is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Okay, sexual reproduction occur not only in the plant but it will also occur in case of animals. Okay, then we will discuss about the reproductive health. Okay, so reproductive health is also important issue. Clear? So what is reproduction? Reproduction is a biological process by which new organism, that is offsprings, are produced from their parent or parents. Okay, first of all let me tell you what do you mean by the beta offsprings. Offsprings are the daughters. Okay, daughters are known as the offspring. Clear? It means to say they are children, they are kids, these are the offspring. Okay, in scientific language we call it offspring. Okay, so they don't get confused. Okay, now come to the topic reproduction. Okay, so the reproduction of new organism from an existing organism. How the new organism form? Here the new organisms form from existing organism. Got it? Existing organism. Okay, of the same species. This process is known as reproduction. Basically reproduction is the creation of, new living things. Got it? Creation of new living things. Okay, from the existing living things. This is a very simple point. Okay, and living organism produce more organism of their kind to maintain the life of their species on the earth. So let us discuss about the point that what are the importance of reproduction. So what are the importance of reproduction? Why reproduction is necessary for us? Actually, reproduction produce variation. Okay, so they produce variation in species and lead to its evolution. Got it? Actually, reproduction is essential for the. Actually, here two organisms reproduce. First one is the male, or second one is the female. When the gametes of male and female fuse together, then they form a new organism. Okay, so what you observe, that some feature, half of the feature of a male parent and half of the feature of female parent, it goes into their children. Okay, so their children's, it lead to the evolution. Okay, so you observe a variation. Okay, then you feel a variation in this species. Okay, it lead to its evolution. Okay, that's why this is the first thing, that how why reproduction is important. Okay, now next one is the maintaining the continuity of a species. The process of reproduction actually ensure the continuity of life on earth. For example, let me give you an example of this, that human beings, okay, human beings, they reproduce by giving birth to their babies. As you all know, babies, it may be a son or the daughter. Okay, and these babies grow, then they become adults. So when the old parent die and when they become adults now, actually, so when the old parent die, their son and daughters keep living on this earth. These sons and daughters also reproduce by giving birth to more babies and more babies. This process goes on and on. Okay, and how this is, they maintain the life reproduction, help in maintaining the continuity of a species. Okay, same happen with the in case of the cats, they reproduce and giving birth to the kittens. Okay, so their species may live forever. Got it? I hope it is clear to everyone. Now next one is the helps in organism from become existing. Yes, because when they reproduce again and again, then it will prevent their species. Okay, so it will prevent the organism from become existing. Now let's see different types of reproduction. Basically there are two types of reproduction, and these are the type of reproduction which occur in different types of organisms. Okay, so first one is the asexual reproduction and second is the sexual reproduction. Got it? Asexual reproduction where only one parent involved. Okay, only one parent, there is a single parent. Okay, then this single parent divide and they form two new organism. Okay, two new organism, that is their daughter cells. Clear? So basically there is no formation, neither the fusion of gametes occur. Okay, basically there is gametes not involved. Okay, so if gametes not involved, variation not observed here. Variation not observed here. Clear? While in case of sexual reproduction, there are two parents. One is said to be male and second is female. Okay, and both of these male and female form some gametes. Okay, now these gametes fuse together. Got it? You got it? These gametes fuse together and they form a new offspring. Okay, now listen me very carefully, beta. Here variation occur. Here variation occur. Got it? In asexual reproduction, variation not observed, while here variation observed. Why variation observed? Let me clear this point. Okay, so this daughter cell contain some features of male parent as well as they have some feature of female parents also. That's why variation observed here. Okay, so this is all about the different types of reproduction. Okay, now let us discuss about the different types of asexual reproduction. Now here are the different types of asexual reproduction. First one is the fission, okay, fragmentation, buddings, vegetative propagation, regeneration and spore formation. Okay, so here I am going to explain you each and every type of asexual reproduction one by one. So first type of asexual reproduction is fission. What do you mean with the fission? Fission means to say beta splitting into parts. Okay, so basically there is a splitting of an organism into different parts. Okay, so if the organism body is split into two parts, this is known as the binary fission. Look at the name, bi means to say beta two. Okay, so here there is a splitting of organism body into two parts. Okay, so this is known as binary fission. Clear? Whose parents organism splits, it means to say they divide, then it form two new organisms, such as in case of amoeba. Okay, amoeba is very famous organism that show binary fission. Okay, I will show their diagram later. Just wait a minute. First of all, I will tell you what is multiple fission. Okay, as the name indicate multiple, it means to say many times. Got it? So there is a splitting of the parent body occur many times. Okay, splitting into many parts or many times. Okay, here is splitting into two parts, but here is splitting occur many part. Now here is the example of very famous example of binary fission. Okay, binary fission observed in case of amoeba. So this is the amoeba. Okay, so let's see that how binary fission occur in amoeba. When amoeba reach to its maximum size of growth, look at this. Okay, when they reach toward their maximum size of growth, now that time then their first nucleus of amoeba divide. Look at this, their nucleus start dividing, they start dividing. Okay, after that cytoplasm of amoeba divides. Okay, look at this, their cytoplasm start dividing. Clear? Start divides into two parts. Got it? Clear? So this is how division occur, and after that two daughter cells are formed. Okay, so this is all steps which is involved in the binary fission of amoeba. Means division of nucleus. Here division of nucleus occur. It followed by the division of division of cytoplasm. Got it? And paramecium also show same type of division. Okay, in the body of paramecium same division occurs. Okay, their body also elongated when they reach toward the maximum size na. When the paramecium reach toward the maximum size na, then their body also start dividing. Okay, actually paramecium na, another example, write down that paramecium. This is the first example, amoeba, and second with the paramecium. But a paramecium is a unicellular organism. Got it? This is a unicellular organism. Okay, clear? A fully grown paramecium divides its body into two parts to form two smaller paramecium. Okay, this happens by the division of nucleus followed by the division of cytoplasm. Okay, and same will occur in case of Leishmania also. Okay, Leishmania. Okay, so Leishmania is also a singular unicellular animal, okay, which is basically a protozoan. It is a parasite which cause a different type of diseases such as the Kala Azar and so many things. Okay, so in them the binary fusion also occur. Okay, so these are the different methods of reproduction which is occur in the amoeba, paramecium and Leishmania. They reproduce by the process of binary fusion. Okay, now let's see multiple fusion. Okay, multiple fusion in which the parent organism splits their body into many new organisms at the same time. So, okay, let's see how this happen in case of Plasmodium. Okay, case of Plasmodium. Okay, now sometime particularly during the unfavorable condition, during time of unfavorable condition, got it? Not at every time. Here I am not talking about the every time. Okay, mainly in the unfavorable conditions, what happen here? A cyst or protective wall is formed. Okay, cyst formed. Cyst is known as just a protective wall. Look at this diagram. This is the Plasmodium beta. Okay, here's the Plasmodium. And what happened here now? They form a protective covering outside their body. Okay, so what is this? This is the protective covering which they form during a time of unfavorable condition. Okay, around the cell of a single celled organism, जो कि क्या है? Which is the Plasmodium. Plasmodium is a single celled organism. Keep this in your mind that this is a single celled organism. Okay, so inside these cells, inside this cyst, nucleus of cell is split. Look at this, the nucleus of cell is split start. Okay, several times to form many smaller nuclei called the daughter cells. Okay, so write down here, inside this cyst, nucleus of cell splits. Got it? Many times. Okay, now then after that what happened? Many new daughter cells are formed from a single parent cell within the cyst. Okay, all this happen within the cyst. Got it? But when the favorable condition occur, when the condition is favorable, when the favorable condition arrive, the cyst ruptures. Okay, what happens? Cyst rupture. Cyst breaks open and the many daughter cells, look at this, here the cyst rupture na beta, and the daughter cells present in it released. Okay, each forming a new organism. See, look at in the figure. Okay, so in this way a single cell parent undergoes multiple fission to reproduce many daughter cells at the same time. Okay, so write down this process, cyst rupture and many daughter cell formed. Okay, so this is how a Plasmodium, which is a protozoan or microscopic single-celled animals reproduce. Okay, and you know that about 1,000, yes, about 1,000 daughter cells are produced by the multiple fission of one Plasmodium cells. Okay, is it important? And do you know, write down your note somewhere that Plasmodium cause which type of disease? Plasmodium is the malaria parasite. Okay, malarial parasite, which is responsible for causing malaria disease in human beings. Okay. Now, next asexual reproduction is, next type of asexual reproduction is, it is occur by the budding. So, first of all, let me introduce the word. What do you mean with the bud, beta? Bud means a small outgrowth, okay? A small outgrowth from the body of a living organisms, okay? Now, let us discuss the method of budding now, okay? How that budding occur. Okay, so budding is an asexual method of reproduction. As I told you, in budding, a small part of the body of a parent. Look at this, a small part which is the outgrowth part of the body of parent. It grows out as a bud, which means then it detach and become a new living organism. Okay, so let me explain you all the process. Okay, so this diagram is of the hydra. Actually, hydra show the process of a reproduction by the budding. Okay, so as you all know that hydra is a simple multicellular organism, not a unicellular. Okay, multicellular. Okay, just wait a minute. It is a multicellular organism, animal. Okay, so hydra reproduced by the process of budding. Clear? So this happens as follows, that in hydra, first a small outgrowth, that is the bud. Okay, this bud is formed on the side of its body. Look at the diagram. Here the bud start developing. Okay, and how they develop? By the process of mitotic division of its cell. Okay, now this bud then grows gradually to form a small hydra by developing a mouth and the tentacles. Look at this, here mouth, this is the mouth, and the tentacles also start developing. This is a cute little baby. Okay, now finally when the hydra develop finally, okay, look at this, got it? So, and finally the tiny new hydra detach itself from the body of the parent hydra. Okay, clear? This grows, it grows, and after that it become mature. Okay, and after maturation they detach their body itself from the body of parent hydra. Okay, now they start lives as a separate organism. In this way, the parent hydra has reproduced, or you can say it create a new hydra. Thus, hydra reproduces asexually by growing buds from its body, and this is known as the budding. Okay, I hope it will clear to you what do you mean by the budding. Okay, and not only hydra, but the budding is also shown by the yeast also. Okay, so wait a minute, I am going to erase this so that I will explain the process of budding in case of yeast also. Okay, so yeast, which is a unicellular organism. That one next example. Next example is the beta yeast. Okay, so yeast is a unicellular organism. It is a unicellular organism which is a non-green plant, means to say which is a fungus. Okay, yeast to reproduce by the budding. Clear? Actually, this is a parent yeast. Okay, here the parent yeast. Clear? And their body start forming a little bud. Little bud means to say outgrowth. Look at this. Okay, got it? So here, wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Okay, so this is how the outgrowth is formed. So this is the bud of yeast. Okay, this is the yeast. Okay, so bud forming here. Now bud detach from their body. Okay, the bud detach from their body and they develop into a new organisms. Okay, new organism. Clear? Not only a single chain, actually here there is a long chain of yeast cells formed. Okay, and after that new cells are formed, new yeast cells forms. Okay, so this is all happens, this is all about the budding that will happen in case of the plasmodium, in case of the hydra as well as in case of the yeast. Okay, so next type of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. So as the name indicates, fragmentation, it means to say there's a breaking of body, okay, breaking up into many fragments. So what break here? Here there is a body of organism break, okay. So here's a very common example. Common example is in case of the Spirogyra, okay. So this diagram is of the Spirogyra, okay, which is a multicellular organism. It is a green filamentous algae part. Look at the diagram, is it a green, you know? So this is a green algae plant, okay. And upon its maturation, when they become fully mature, when their body become fully mature now, and after that time the Spirogyra break into many fragments. Look at this, they break into many fragments, fragment 1, fragment 2 and fragment 3. Now each fragments develops into a new organism. Look at this, okay, they develop into a new organism. But the question is in your mind, okay, that what is difference between fission and fragmentation, ma'am? The fission is the same, just like a fragmentation, na? Okay, so fission and fragmentation. What is the difference between fragmentation and fission? Can you tell me? Can you tell me, students? Yes, absolutely. Fission is occur in case of unicellular organism. It is occur in case of unicellular organism, okay. Clear? Here unicellular organism break up to form 2 or more daughter organism. Why fragmentation? This occur in case of multicellular organisms, okay. They break up to form 2 or more daughter organism. This is the main difference between fission and fragmentation. Keep this in your mind. As I told you, that fission means to say splitting of the body, and fragmentation also you can observe here there is a splitting. But fragmentation occur in case of multicellular organism, while fission occur in case of unicellular organism. So this is the main difference between the fission and fragmentation, okay. Now, what do you mean by the regeneration? Regeneration is another method of reproduction, asexual reproduction, okay. In some organisms, small parts, small cut part of their body can grow. I mean to say they regenerate to form whole new organism, complete in all respects, okay. So what is regeneration? The ability of an organism to develop their lost parts, such as in case of planaria, not in case of planaria, but in case of hydra also. Okay, planaria. So as you know that planaria is a flatworm. It is a flatworm which is found in the freshwater ponds, okay, and it is a slow moving organism also. And planaria actually show a great power of regeneration. Keep this in mind, that show a great power of regeneration. This can be framed as an important question in your exam. Great power of regeneration. Okay. Got it. So if the body of planaria, look at this diagram is of the planaria. If the body of planaria, okay, somehow get cut into a number of pieces, accidentally, they may be happen accidentally, somehow gets cut into a number of pieces, then each part, okay, each piece can regenerate. Look at this, each piece can regenerate. This tail part regenerate, okay, regenerate. Look at this, and here their abdomen part, their thorax part, they regenerate, okay, regenerate into a complete planaria by growing all the missing parts, okay. And similarly, all these things happen in case of hydra also. Hydra gets cut into a number of pieces, then each body pieces of hydra can grow into a complete hydra. Got it? But keep this in your mind that regeneration is not exactly, this is not exactly same as reproduction. Got it? This is not exactly same as reproduction, because most simple animals would not depend on being cut into pieces to be able to reproduce. Okay? Got it? So now look at this organism. This is in case of lizard. This is lizard. So what you observe here, that accidentally, if due to accident, their part cut, this tail cut, now then this tail, lost tails, it start growing. Okay, they regrow their tail after 4 weeks. Okay, now regrow tail after 20 weeks, means to say their tail is completely grown. Why this will happen? Because they have actually a specialized cells are present. Okay, there's a specialized cells that make up the tissue, then tissue make up the organs, and finally organ make up the organ system. Okay, finally this organism is occur. Okay, so actually they have a specialized cell, okay, a specialized cell that are able to regrow, that are able to regenerate, but these cells are not present in case of all the multicellular organism, such as in our case, in our human, I mean to suggest in case of mammals, in mammals, the tail of a dog cannot regenerate. Okay, got it? A dog is a complex multicellular organism now, which cannot be regenerated from its cut body part, say a cut tail. This is because the cells present in the cut tail of a dog cannot produce dog's organ like heart, brain, lung, stomach, intestine, etc. needed for making a complete dog. Okay, so if all the living organism, all the multicellular organism are not able to regenerate, that's why I'm saying the regeneration is not exactly same as a reproduction process, because this happen accidentally. Regeneration happen accidentally, while fragmentation, as I told you in the case of fragmentation, na beta, fragmentation is actually reproduction. So there is a little bit difference between fragmentation and regeneration. Regeneration occur accidentally. Okay, this is not exactly same as reproduction process. Got it? Now next is the spore formation. Spore formation is the next type of asexual reproduction, which mainly occur in case of fungi and in case of bacteria also. Okay, now look at this diagram. Look at this image. What you observe here? Is it a bread? Yes. Is it a bread? Okay. So can you observe a white patches on this bread? Look at this, there are white patches. Here's the white patches occur on the bread, okay, and after some time these white patches turn into black color. Why? If we keep a moist slice of bread aside for a few days now, then you observe a white patches which turn which turn black color after some time. Okay, so what is this? This is a spore. This is known as the spore formation. This is a type of fungus which is known as bread mold. Okay, we call it bread mold. Okay, so if we observe the surface of this slide, this one, okay, this one of bread, this slice of bread through a magnifying glass now, then the bread mold of the plant, look at this, then the bread mold plant growing on it, it will appear to be like that, okay. The bread mold plant consists of a fine thread like projection called hyphae. Yeah, this is a fine thread like projection. This fine thread like projection is known as hyphae. Okay, and thin stems, look at their thin stem. There's a thin stems also present having knob like structure. Can you imagine? Look at this. This is a knob like structure which is known as the sporangia. Sporangia is it is a knob like structure. Got it? So each knob-like structure, look at this, there are many knob-like structure, not only one. Each knob-like structure, which is the sporangia, they contain hundreds of minute spores. Okay, they contain hundreds of minute spores. Okay, when enclosed in a spore case. So when the spore case bursts, look at this. This is the spore. This is the sporangia, okay, and when they burst, somewhat like that, then the teeny spores are dispersed in the air, and these spores are the asexual reproductive unit which can produce more bread mold plants under suitable condition. If they get suitable condition, then they make. Actually, it was one such airborne spores. What are these? These are airborne spores. Okay, which grew on the new moist slice of a bread if you kept aside by us for a few days. Okay, if we remove one sporangium from the bread mold, keep it on a slide, put a cover slip over it and observe this slide through a microscope, then we will observe these things. Okay, so this is a common thing. Okay, so spore formation you have seen here in case of bread mold. And what is scientific name of, what is biological name of bread mold? This is the rhizopus. Got it? This is the rhizopus. Okay. So everything whatever I told you in the last slide, it is given here in the written form. Okay, just to make it down the notes. Okay, that is spore formation. It is seen in case of rhizopus. That is in case of fungus. Okay, which is a fungus. Rhizopus body is made up of thread-like structure, which you call the hyphae. Okay, and from hyphae, look at this. From hyphae, there is a erect portion. Okay, having the sporangia. This is the sporangia, as I told you. And this is sporangia. There the spores are formed. Okay, spores are asexual reproduction body having a protective walls. They are produced only during a time of unfavorable condition. They produced. Okay. And when the spores falls on a suitable medium, each one forms a new individual. Now, next method of asexual reproduction is vegetative propagation. Okay, so what is vegetative propagation? Actually, here new plants are grows. Got it? Here new plants grows or obtained from the plant, from the part of old plant. Okay, from the part of old plant. New plants grows from the part of old plant. Okay, old plant and this part of old plant is known as vegetative part. Vegetative part. So what is vegetative part? What are the different vegetative parts of the plant? Okay, it is a stem. It can be a stem, it can be root, or it can be a leaves. Okay, but don't include flower bit. Okay, because there is no role of reproductive organ, that is flower. Flower is the reproductive organ. Okay, keep this in your mind. While stems, roots, and leaves are the vegetative part. Okay, these all occur in case of the asexual reproduction. Got it? Now, different types of vegetative propagations are natural vegetative propagation as well as the artificial vegetative propagation. If I am talking about the natural vegetative propagation, it occurs with the help of root, it occurs with the help of stem, even with the help of leaf. Okay, and what about the artificial vegetative propagation? It occurs with the help of crafting. Okay, that is layering, also with the help of layering, with the help of cutting, and tissue culture. Okay, tissue culture. Natural means to say which is given by the nature, that is the root, stem, and leaves. Okay, with the help of 3 vegetative parts. While grafting means to say where human beings involves. Got it? So first of all, let us discuss about the vegetative propagation through natural method. Okay, through natural method. Okay, so first type of natural method is the root. Okay, vegetative propagation through root. How it will occur? Actually, vegetative propagation through root, it is observed in case of sweet potato. In case of sweet potato, got it? In case of carrots, and many more. There are examples. Actually, sweet potato and carrots have modified root. Look at the diagram. Look at this. These are the modified root beta. Okay, they have modified root. Okay, and this modified roots develop into new plant. I hope you got it. Okay, so this is the modified root, and this modified root develop into a new plants. Okay, so this is how vegetative propagation occur through the root. So here you observe easily that the vegetative parts, and that this is the vegetative part, that basically this is the old part of the plant which is developed into a new plant. Okay, so in vegetative propagation by roots, one of the vegetative part of the plant is taken and planted in the soil. So next method of vegetative propagation is through stem. Okay, it is observed in case of potato, in case of onion, and there are many more examples. Okay, here's the potato and onion. Keep this in your mind. In case of root, that was the sweet potato. Okay, while here there's a potato and onions. Okay, so can you observe that potatoes has many eyes? Look at this diagram. Okay, these are known as the eyes. That is the buds. Okay, these are the auxiliary buds on its body. So when the potato tuber is planted, when this is planted in the soil now, then the various buds of the potato tuber start growing to form a new plant. Look at this, then they start growing to form a new plant. Okay, so keep this in mind that they have also modified stem. Okay, and this modified stems develop into a new plant when we grow this into the soil, when we planted it in the soil. Okay, so vegetative propagation occurs through the stem when new plants arise from the nodes. Node, that is the buds or the eyes. This is where buds are formed which grow into a new plants. Okay. Now next vegetative propagation, next type of vegetative propagation is through leaves. Okay, as you know, this is also a method of natural propagation. Okay, so it is occur in case of mainly bryophyllum. Okay, so this is the leaf of bryophyllum. Okay, bryophyllum. Begonia also, there is another example which is the begonia. Okay, but this is the leaf of bryophyllum. Here is the bryophyllum also. Actually, leaves of bryophyllum plant have special types of buds. Look at this, they have a special type of buds. Okay, clear? And which get detached from the leaf. Okay, here the buds are present. Where these are present? At the margin of leaf. Margin of leaf. Got it? Now they detach. These buds detached from leaves. Okay, they detach from leaves. Got it? Then fall to the ground and they produce a new bryophyllum plants. Okay, so let's read about these lines also. The reproduction in which new plants grow from the buds growing on the margin of the leaf. As I told you here, these buds are reproductive in nature, and when they fall on the ground, they germinate and form a new plant. Okay. Now, next method of vegetative propagation is through the artificial propagation, that is through grafting. Okay, so what is grafting? Actually, grafting is the act of placing a portion of one plant into or on the stem, root or branch of another in such a way that a union will be formed and a partner will continue to grow. I will explain it. Just wait a minute. Actually, this is a method in which the cut stem of two different parts. Here, first of all, what you will do, just take two stems. Okay, just take two stems of different plant. Okay, two different plant, one with root and other without root. One with root. Okay, here the root is present and this stem is without root. Okay, are joined together, and the stem with root, this is known as the scion. Clear? And while the stem with root, this is known as the stalk. Okay, clear? Very simple thing. Clear? And all these two stems, both of these two stems are joined together in such a way that the two stems join and grow as a single plant. Now look at this. You have to just join it. Okay, and knot it very tightly with the help of a cloth, with the help of a piece of cloth. Okay? Now here scion and stalk join together, then they will develop into a new plant, grow as a single plant. Look at this, everything is given here. Okay, then they develop into a new plant. This is all about the grafting. It is a very simple thing, is the grafting, very simple. Now next method of artificial propagation is through the layering. Okay, so through layering it is observed in case of jasmine, it is occur in case of hibiscus, in case of guava. Okay, even in case of lemon also. Okay, now let's see what happened in case of layering. Actually, in this method, a branch of plant, look at this, a branch of plant is pulled toward the ground. Okay, and a part of it is covered with moist. Look at this, and a part of it which covered with the moist soils. Okay, here also. okay, leaving the tip of the branch, just leave the tip of the branch, okay, exposed over the ground. And after some time, new roots start developing from the part of the branch which is buried in the soil, okay. Then the branch is then cut off from the parent plant, and the part of the branch which has developed root, this will grow, this will become a new plant just like the parent plant. Okay, so all these things happen in case of the jasmine, hibiscus and guava. Okay, now let me read all these lines also just for you. Layering is a technique of the plant propagation where the new plant remains at least partially attached to the mother plant while forming new root, and can occur naturally through modified stem structure. Okay, let's see what happened in the artificial propagation through cutting. Okay, first of all, let me give you the example. Examples are rose. It is occur in case of rose, but examples are most important, so keep this in your mind as examples. Occur in case of rose, bananas, grapes, okay, as well as in the case of cactus, as in the sugarcane, okay. So these are very common examples for the cuttings, okay. So cutting propagation is growing a plant from a stem or root that has been cut from another plant, okay. So what happened here actually, a small part of a plant which is removed by making a cut. Look at this, here we cut a small part with a sharp knife, and this is known as a cutting. A part having bud should be taken in the cut. Keep this in mind, a part having bud should be taken. Okay, without bud it is not able to grow. Okay, now its lower part is buried in the moist soil. Okay, and after a few days the cutting develop roots. Okay, this cutting start rooting and grows into a new plant. So this is how cutting happens. This is commonly occur in case of the money plant. Can you hear the money plant? Okay, so money plant is a very simple example which is present in at every home. Now next and last method of artificial propagation is the tissue culture. Okay, what happened here? Actually here the production of new plants occur with the help of a small piece of plant tissue. Just take a small piece of plant tissue, cut it, okay, and grow into a medium. This medium is known as the agar medium, okay, that contain all the essential nutrients and organisms which is responsible for the growth of a plant. Okay, then what will happen here, the plants when the plant get a suitable medium now, which is known as the culture solution. This is the culture solution, okay, and then it will grow into a plants. Okay, so let's see all this process one by one step. Now look at the process. The technique of developing a new plant from a cell or tissue in a nutrient medium under aseptic condition. Okay, so what happened here now, cell or tissue is placed in a nutrient medium. First of all, we cut the part of a plant. Okay, then we placed in a nutrient medium where it forms a mass of cell which is known as callus. The callus is very important for your exam. Okay, this is the most important thing. Okay, clear? Now this callus, then we transformed this callus to another nutrient medium where it differentiated and form a new plant. After some time this plant develop into a new plant. Okay, so this is all about the tissue culture. Okay, so in today's lecture we have discussed about, I told you about the asexual reproduction, different types of asexual reproduction. Okay students, and in the next lecture we will discuss about the sexual reproduction. Got it? So that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.